provide the best of both worlds as we see the explosion of virtual worlds. So one of the things that we've done is we jumped into the crypto voxel scene, specifically Gangnam Neon, for anyone who's big on the crypto voxels. This is where most of the art galleries are located. So a lot of the crypto artists themselves have created locations, galleries specific to show off their own art, or collectors themselves have actually gone in and created huge galleries to display what they've collected. This is the MetaFactory Vaporwave Pagoda. So we've actually contracted an artist directly to build this for us. On the bottom floor, we'll actually be listing all our auctions, so you'll be able to go in, participate with the physical apparel auctions directly from there. The middle floor is where all our digital wearables, which are actually going to be complements or basically representative of digital representations of the physical pieces. And only the people who participate in auctions will actually be able to have those. So you can wear your shirt in Meat Space or rock it in the virtual world. And then on top is a gallery of kind of the MetaFactory team's collections. So we think that this kind of digi-physical apparel kind of is, obviously it's a completely novel concept, but it allows for you to, whether you, again, be in physical Meat Space or in digital, in the digital world, you can show your colors, support your favorite artist, support your favorite projects. So we see this as both a marketing tool for projects as well as kind of another outlet for artists themselves. And yeah, hopefully, as we expect, we're going to bring some new audiences and some new eyes into this, because people will be like, where'd you get that awesome shirt on the street? Or where'd you get that awesome shirt in Crypto Voxels, Decentraland, as all these start to explode. So.
Yeah. So just to give a quick overview, TLDR, of how it works and what we actually do. The platform is going to be designed where artists can basically come to MetaFactory with their designs or sketches or ideas for what they want to create apparel-wise, and it can be anything. We basically have the capacity to custom cut and sew, produce anything. It just matters what you can create, and we can build it just off your sketches and art. And then from there, MetaFactory will handle all the production, fulfillment, packaging, and running the actual product drop auction, which I'll detail more about the mechanics of that. And then the profits from all the sales are split between the artist, MetaFactory just to fund development of the platform, and then the community who participates in the auction and the products. So yeah, normally, the whole idea of this is to really lower the barrier of entry for someone to who wants to design a piece of fashion to actually do it. If you wanted to go out on your own and find production partners and fulfillment and all this stuff, it's you have to spend 10 grand to find just to start off, But we want to lower that barrier to entry to just submitting a sketch on a web browser.
And somewhat surprisingly, maybe not surprisingly, a lot of the artists we've reached out to, some of which are kind of top artists in the space, they've always wanted to do this. They've always wanted to create shirts, they wanted to create apparel, but beyond just the simple on-demand printing that exists, these guys want to do custom cut and sew bomber jackets, fashionable tees, ties, shoes, sneakers, and so being able to actually provide a platform to handle all that back-end work so they can just focus on their art, we found a huge draw and interest in what we're doing, and we have a huge lineup already for the launch of artist partners, so we're super excited about that.
Yeah. So now I'm going to kind of just give you an overview of how the actual auction mechanics works on MetaFactory. So products will drop on a time-based auction. So the auction will have a countdown time for 12 hours, which is the window you have to purchase the product. Every purchase increases the price of the product, and it also adds 3 hours to the timer. So every time you purchase a product, you get an NFT, and that NFT will basically get charged up or embedded with a cut of the sales of every product purchased after it. So if you're one of the first people to buy it, your NFT will be charged up with a bunch of interest-bearing DAI that represents your product, and then it also has a certain value that's locked within it, and then that's always accumulating over time. And then the other fun part is the last person to make the purchase will get the product for free. So if the price is going up and the time's about to run out, someone might want to get in there and risk hey, I might get this like $420 jacket for free, and then they buy it. But then if someone like gets in front of them, then so it's just like fun game mechanics to just see how like a fashion product like this could you organically discover the value of this product based on how many people want it and how hot it is.
Like your Mac.
So we're also as volume.
Buyers run out. What if no one's willing to pay the price that you push it to? It just doesn't make sense as someone in finance. You can't have an item that just constantly goes up in price. So there has to be a buyer on the other side willing to pay that. So like, what if someone's not?
If no one buys it and the price doesn't go up and the auction timer runs out and however many people bought it, that's the exact amount of items that will be produced. We never produce apparel again. It's a completely limited run auction. So it's about the scarcity that there's only going to be this many made.
So if I'm just hypothetically, if I'm trying to play this market as a speculator, if I'm always buying the first product, the first quantity of any item that gets released, doesn't that mean I'm guaranteed to be in profit as long as other people are willing to pay that?
I mean,
If other people buy after you, if you're the only buyer, no one's buying after you, you're not making anything.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But yeah, so it's just kind of like we're just gonna run an experiment and see how it goes. See how it plays out, but we'll see. So, yeah, you can see some of you guys probably seen that. That's gonna be like a Genesis jacket design. There's only a part of it. We're gonna do like a full reveal of the full design that no one else has seen yet, and that will basically be within the next few weeks. We'll be launching the auction for that. We're gonna have a beta testnet version of the auction up like either later today or tomorrow. So you guys can all play with that and see how the mechanics work. But yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, to your point, more specifically to the mechanics, we know what our cost is to produce. We basically can start the auction at that cost. No one loses.
Okay.
We don't lose.
You guys don't, because you know what your cost is.
Right, and basically that person, if one person buys it, they're basically getting it at cost too. So like we're not necessarily making anything either. So we're like how long we can sustain if only
It's
one
a really
person
interesting,
buys.
it's a really interesting concept that you could have a marketplace where the price is pretty much, if there's a demand, it's going to go up. It's not volatile.
So what's great too is we're leveraging these artist communities that already have huge followings, and people are basically go ecstatic for their art. So I don't know if you've seen, but guys buying 10 ETH gifts. This is happening.
Yeah.
So the fact that you actually get a physical jacket, a physical piece of clothing, and a wearable, and this thing is not only has the speculative kind of emotional value attached to it, but it's actually infused with real dye that's interest bearing. So it actually has a real locked in value to it. And the flip side of that is the only way to get that, you can take the interest out at any time, but the only way to actually get the dye in, the refund that you've been given, is to burn the object, which makes every other digital item left out there more scarce. So you're playing, there's game theory all over.
I really like the marketplace structure that you guys have.
Yeah.
So yeah, just to go a bit into the design, you guys probably seen this. This is the front of the jacket. This is the back of the jacket. That's what it looks like. It's a Genesis edition jacket. So for the first product, we really just wanted to go all out and make something fully custom, really high quality. And then the cool part with this jacket is it's reversible. So there's a design on the outside, and then there's a design on the inside as well. So you guys are getting the exclusive look at what this first jacket's gonna look like on the inside. So here's the inside back of the jacket. Yeah, it's probably not high resolution, but basically it's a super detailed pattern on that crazy mandala thing. And then, so this jacket was designed by me, and also Peter Pan contributed to it, specifically the front of the jacket. So this is the front of that jacket. There's a lot of little Easter eggs and stuff in there, but yeah, that's gonna be Genesis edition jacket from Metafactory. Hopefully launching within the next couple weeks, yeah. So yeah, FOMO in heart.
Not financial advice, right?
Yeah.
No, because this is we want to focus as much about the apparel as possible, right? If you as a speculator buy an NFT, you're gonna that NFT you can trade it on the secondary market or something, but you're committed. There's no refund, you're committed to buying that product and getting it shipped to you. So
yeah, I mean, to that point, the reason they're the typical bonding curve model with Unisocks or what St. Fame's doing. we decided to go against that because we wanted to actually focus on the creative works themselves. We wanted to not necessarily make it about buying and selling and speculating on a token. So, and so we really thought about like how we could do that, and that this is the kind of the model we came up with. The auction piece is really kind of where we're focused first, but it's very likely, and we're already starting to explore how we're just going to go direct to sale, additional limited run marketplace as well. So assuming we get the interest, we'll be doing kind of like direct sales as well. But the idea too for the auctions is to do one at a time, completely focused and spotlighting one artist and their piece, and really kind of putting shining a spotlight on both the art and the product, so we're not kind of cannibalizing them.
Yeah, this might be a dumb part. So the NFTs are completely transferable, but the physical item that backs that NFT, obviously you can't enforce that because that's not on chain. So
Right.
How do you foresee that playing out in terms of the secondary market when people are trading the NFT? Do you think the physical items are going to follow them, or like realistically?
That's really up to the owner. It's not a dumb question. It's something we've thought about a lot. We're looking to host like an OpenSea secondary market directly on the platform and kind of help to, I guess, inform on pricing in that sense. So if someone wants to actually transfer the physical item with the digital NFT, cool, but there's like a whole shipping and facilitation piece. We're not really looking to solve that problem necessarily. And the tracking of authenticity.
It's actually a really hard problem to solve because there's a loss for the person doing the trade to ship it. There's an opportunity.
Right, for sure.
So it's more profitable to just send the NFT. Everyone's going to want to.
The flip side too, or the other side of that is we capture sizing. So the person who actually purchases initially, they're choosing the size for them. If you're a different size for the physical, you know, so
I
then
didn't
it's
think
just,
about that. I didn't even think about that.
You know, so there's layers all the way down. But yeah, the cool part is because again we have that infused value into the digital NFT itself. That has kind of like an inherent market value that's tradable. And then also if you're super bullish and you're spending all your time in crypto voxels and whatnot or Decentraland, you just want that shirt, you know.
Yeah, like for some people, the NFT might even be, they might care more about that NFT than they do about the physical item.
Right.
The NFT is like, it can last forever, you know, because like a physical item's like still like, you know, if it gets damaged or whatever. But like, I imagine like a lot of people want to keep the NFT as like proof they own the physical item, you know, it's not a knockoff and it's not this and that. So
if anything, if all the Genesis physicals got destroyed, the NFTs would be way more valuable because there's no more physicals.
Now you're thinking how to manipulate the market. That's the game theory.
Where are the items going to be produced, and are you concerned if there's going to be like any fakes of the same items?
Not necessarily. We have a number of production partners that we're working with and established. There's actually one that's it's really exciting. They're basically an Uber on-demand style for cut and sew custom work. We can actually dictate where, sustainable, eco-friendly. Basically, if the artist has restrictions or wants to kind of dictate like the specific type of fabric or whatnot, we basically have full range. It's a team that's come from supply chain world, fashion, and they have connections all around the world from like, factories and whatnot. So we're basically plugged into them, and we directly interface with them, and then through that also we do a lot of the production and fulfillment through that extension. So realistically, we'd love to get to a point where we're basically just a technology provider and technology platform provider, and we can actually spin off these individual brand economies for each artist. So once we kind of highlight what's possible, if we can empower those artists to run off and create their entire own fashion line, even more the better. You know, we think that's like it's all about the community. So.
Do you guys foresee yourself working with brands additionally to individual artists?
Yeah, I mean, that'd be great. Hopefully some people are looking at what we're doing and saying, that's a great idea, or we'd like to get involved and collab with them. So obviously, yeah, that'd be great. More attention on us, especially one of like the hypebeast brands or whatnot. I mean, obviously we expect crypto artists, crypto communities to kind of first eyes and be the first draw for this, but we're really going to target and market hard to those hypebeast communities and like those fashion kids that like just love and eat this kind of stuff up. And we hope we can grab that audience, bring them into Web3, and then they discover the world of DeFi and all the rest that comes with it. So
like the really cool thing is like the younger generation like understands like this stuff way faster and way easier than like the people that have like that sort of like baggage or like, you know, perceived like notion of how things work. you know, like the kids today, like it just makes sense to them intuitively, you know. So it's like we have a really nice product market fit that way, where like they already have, you know, like there's already like a bunch of like random people that like buy clothes and then like paint on them or modify them to like sell to their thing. So like,
a Supreme brick that sells for $1,000. You know, like this world exists. But yeah, to your point, some people they don't understand how the draw or the interest to pay $500 for a jacket or $1,000 for a jacket, but it exists. That
and like
there.
this is also being bridged with like the whole gaming economy too. You know, like people spend hundreds of dollars on in-game items, right? But like this is bridging that world with like the physical like hype beast world with like bonding curve, FOMO 3D world. So yeah, it's fun.
The cauldron, we just threw it all in and just kind of, all right, let's pulled out Metafactory.
So you guys are open to opening your platform up to like other manufacturers, different types of artists, not just clothing, fashion?
Yeah, I mean, obviously fashion's first of mind, but any sort of accessory, backpacks have come up already, laptops, laptop sleeves, fanny packs, like sneakers is something we're really excited to explore, but as you can imagine, there's huge complications because one, the spectrum of sizing is much larger, and two, the sizing fit is that much more important. So that's really the crux of like the issue, but we're already working with a partner who's really focused on the sneaker side of things, and we're gonna kind of collab with them to see where we can go to, so.
So right before, like, Rocket described the problem of not being able to price NFTs, and then the DAO presentation right after was like how to price NFTs. There seems to be like this, like we hear of composability in DeFi, it seems like you guys are almost like composing your DAOs. Is that happening like chaotically? You guys planning that? But like there seems to be a common thread across your DAOs that like feed into
that's the power of the cartel, you know, like it's literally like that's why Metacartel like can actually be like the community at the forefront of Web3 to actually like, you know, like trailblaze and like do all these things just because like we're all just focused on like trying all this stuff and throwing stuff together and see what works, you know, rather than it's like the whole like cathedral and bazaar thing, you know, like we're not trying to spend $100 million trying to build like one thing to solve this, you know, like huge problem, you know, like let's do like Ethereum blockchain and just do it all at once, you know. We're starting small within communities and like stuff that sticks, you know, like with Metafactory, like it was literally like 2 weeks and just like left, right, and center, we had like interest, we had like partners, we had everything just falling into place, you know, so that was an indication to us that we had like a product market fit and then need and a demand and people who understood what we're doing.
Yeah, realistically, this is, it was all emerging. There was no planning. It was people exploring interests. Metafactory was directly born out of a bunch of us, you know, Sokka talking about how the industry needs better swag. We literally were just like, we need to make cooler swag.
Yeah,
that's how it all started. And then it was Swag DAO, and then it was looking at how we can do these mechanics, and then we're like, well, if we put in some game like FOMO 3D, and then, you know, so, and I'm sure the background of Rocket was similar. It's just like, how can we do loans for something else? How can we do like a non-traditional kind of a DeFi loan and create liquidity around NFTs and these things?
So like, yeah.
Then you got reverse or equity loans on virtual lands that, you know, it's so.
And like with you know the whole like interest-bearing DAI that's like embedded in the NFT is really cool because then you could have like, you know, imagine if you stuck like $1 into like a Babe Ruth rookie card, like for 100 you're just collecting interest, and like it's worth all this now plus whatever the actual card is worth.
Whatever a speculator is willing to pay.
Right, so like, you know, Metafactory NFTs might be like one of the best like collaterals for Rocket NFT, you know, where they actually have this value that's like accruing interest while it's being locked as collateral for like a loan somewhere else, you know.
Are you guys doing RDAI as NFTs, or what are you using for?
So there's this new project called Charged Particles that came out. He has like integrations with like RDAI, ADAI, a bunch of different things, but the whole principle is just like embedding like interest accruing DAI into an NFT.
And the reason why DAI is we basically want to go straight to credit card, so people who are non-crypto familiar can just buy these products directly, and then they're kind of in that world, so it makes sense to focus there. Let's bring up the pan.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice. So we've got 10 minutes left, so we are going to try to get Peter Pan, who recorded a special video for us because of the technical difficulties.